All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing from Watkins Glen International. Nick Sorensen and Richie Joplin have the front row. David Gorman and Mark Nelson on the second row. Kevin Reed and A.J. Godsey on the third row. Michael White and Cody Kennedy on the fourth row. Jeff Hinkle and Vern Spring round out your top 10. Gerald Thanos Poole starts in 11th, Richie West in 12th, Aaron Mason in 13th, Mike Smith in 14th. Brandon Springer starting in 15th with Aldi Hewins in 16th, Wild Bill starting in 17th, Rick Sargent in 18th. Eric Stoy starts 19th, Michael Dow in 20th. Mark Dantuma, that from the back challenge, starting in 21st with Caleb Bass in 22nd. Mark has his work cut out for him tonight. Every dollar donated to the MS Society because of that from the back challenge is gonna be earned tonight. Happy 351st birthday of 2023 to Richie Joplin. Just waiting on a couple more drivers to get to the grid here. Richie Joplin has just lost power. He may not be able to make the grid. Qualified on the front row on his 351st birthday. No, he is not going to make the grid. Hopefully he'll be back in time to start from pit road. That'll move Mark Nelson up to the outside on the front row. Caleb Bass also did not take the grid here. Out of the S's down the long straightaway toward the bus stop. We will see a lot of excitement in the bus stop here tonight. Brandon, I did see that Gourmet is in a Chevy tonight. I talked to him before the race, and we've seen him win on the road course in BRR competition before. Can you imagine what he's going to do with Chevy horsepower? Looked like in qualifying it was more power than he could handle. That might be the problem. Headed toward the final turn, the pace car will hit pit road. They even brought the Porsche out tonight. Pace car is in. Here we go from Watkins Glen. BRR Cup racing is underway. Green flag is in the air. Mike Smith has gone to pit road as Mark Nelson shoots up. Almost cleared Sorensen into one, but now Sorensen heads to the S's in the lead. Here's where a lot of drivers were struggling in practice coming up that hill. Everybody makes it up through the S's. So far, so good. Mike Smith did go to pit road. And now Garmin side by side into the bus stop with Mark Nelson. There is a wreck behind. Michael Whiting involved. Brandon Springer. Richie West involved. And Garmy to second. Looks like Richie West also involved in that incident at the bus stop. Let's see what happened. There's Richie in the Hubba Bubba car. Looks to the inside on Aaron Mason. Looked like Hinkle tried to get around Vern, and there was just a stack up into the bus stop. Oh, Hinkle had such a run. I think he got into Vern and caused a bit of that. Aaron Mason sneaks through. Eric Stoy sneaks through. Mark Dantuma sneaks through. And one last look. Michael Whiting may have gotten the worst of that. He gets a bump from Hinkle, goes around but recovers. So Sorensen has the lead, but Garmin has almost caught him. AJ Gonsi, the points leader, is now in third. Kevin Reed in fourth. Cody Kennedy now up to fifth. Mark Nelson has drifted back into sixth. Aaron Mason is up 6 spots into seventh. Jeff Hinkle in eighth. Eric Stoy came through that incident really well, up 10 spots into ninth. Michael Whiting loses 3 spots to end up in 10th. Mark Dantuma is on pit road. Did he take some damage in that? Don't see any damage to the Ford, but he is rolling again. Last time by, Garmin set the fastest lap so far. AJ Gonsi holding his own in third. Kevin Reed up to fourth. No surprise to see Kevin moving forward on a road course. Mark Nelson still holds in the top 5. Richie Joplin is out on track. After the power outage, Richie comes out in 21st. 4 laps down. Richie was awfully fast in practice. Not sure he's fast enough to make up 4 laps. Might make up 1 or 2. But if we see more chaos, anything could happen here. Albie Hewen starting to make some ground up and bringing Wild Bill with him. Albie up to 13th, Wild Bill in 14th. Gerald Poole lost some ground in that early problem. He is now back in 15th. Rick Sargent sitting in 16th. Michael Dow in 17th. Mike Smith currently running in 18th. Brandon Springer in 19th. Mark Dantuma in 20th after that early stop. Not the way Dantuma needed tonight to go. He currently sits second in points, 15 points behind AJ. AJ currently running in third. Cody Kennedy looked like he may have had a problem coming through the bus stop that time. Just goes a little bit wide. Still holds on into 6th place. Eric Stoy sitting in 9th place as Mike Whiting and Vern Spring closing in. Richie Joplin is on the attack. And I mean, he is on full attack. Richie 4 laps down. The way he's driving, he'll make all of them up. Nick Sorensen still has the lead, but no breakaway. Garmin still in his tire tracks, and they have a 4-second lead on AJ Godsey. Kevin Reed still within striking distance, then Mark Nelson and Cody Kennedy. Aaron Mason in 7th, about 6.5 seconds back as Jeff Hinkle and Eric Stoy coming, and Richie just flying by. Richie Joplin has passed 3 cars on this lap. I said he couldn't make up 4 laps. I could be wrong. Looking back through the field, Aaron Mason, as we mentioned, has Jeff Hinkle, Eric Stoy, and Michael Whiting closing. And Wild Bill has had a problem. Wild Bill looks like coming through the carousel. The back end just steps out hard to the inside wall. Gerald Poole barely avoids that, and Wild Bill toes. Michael Whiting also on the attack after that early incident sent him back several positions. He is currently running in 9th. There is one BRR Road Race ace not here tonight. Surprised to not see him out on track because we know he knows how to get it done on the road course. Kellen Mitchner not here. Hopefully we'll see him back before long. AJ Godsey has some breathing room, about 0.8 of a second on Kevin Reed. Mark Nelson right there is closing in, just 1 second behind. Cody Kennedy a ways back. Jeff Hinkle. Jeff Hinkle sits in 7th and has a driving angry Richie Joplin right on his bumper. Richie is still several laps down, but he has chased everybody down up to 7th place now. Oh, and he opened the door for Aaron Mason. Aaron Mason looked to the inside on Hinkle, almost got it. The top 2 continue to extend their lead. It is now 6 seconds over AJ. Thomas, I have to agree. I do believe Richie Joplin is a man possessed. Rick Sargent is on pit road. And it does not look, it looks like there may have been a problem. Let's see. Coming through the final turn, the car snaps out on him. Those last two turns here at Watkins Glen are just slippery as all get out. The top three are already starting to lap drivers. They just went by 17th place Brandon Springer. Kevin Reed and Mark Nelson trying to close that gap on AJ Godsey. Cody Kennedy back in 6th, is closing back in on Mark Nelson, now 7 seconds back. Jeff Hinkle in 8th. Here goes Michael Whiting on the attack. Whiting looks the inside through the bus stop and takes it. Michael Whiting back to 7th. Hinkle has got Eric Stoy and Aaron Mason all over the bumper. That got close. Yeah, I kind of feel you there. I don't want it anymore either, Thomas. Nick Sorensen has opened up a very small gap. Nope, never mind. Looks like Garmin is beating him into the bus stop. Sorensen had moved out to about 0.8 of a second. Oh, Garmy just a little drifty through the carousel. Garmin not used to all the power in that Chevy. Mark Nelson has gotten back up to 4th after coming by Kevin Reed. Cody Kennedy now sits back in 6th. Michael Whiting up to 7th. Hinkle in 8th. Has Eric Stoy, Aaron Mason in 9th and 10th right behind him. Vern Spring also closing in. Richie West back up to 12th now, and Gerald Poole is starting to move forward again as well. Thanos now in 13th. Albie Ewens has a problem in the bus stop. There's Albie going into the... Oh, just gets that first bump a little too much. So easy to do. Gets her back out on track and rolling. Mark the Man Dan Tuma, despite being one lap down, has made his way up to 18th and sets his sights on Brandon Springer ahead in 17th. Albie sends it into the S's. He climbs right up Mike Smith's back bumper. Albie full attack here. We talked about it all last year in XCal and BRR. Albie has just stepped up to a whole no. Mike locks up the brakes. Albie has stepped up to a whole nother level in a lot of things, and especially as we're seeing here tonight, his road racing is on fire. Michael Dow, one of the newer members in that White Cat crap. Now I'm hungry for White Castle. In that White Castle car, up 6 spots into 14th. He is continuing to march forward. Garmin still holds on in second, but Sorensen has opened up a gap. 1.3 seconds at the moment. There is no competition caution tonight. The drivers have to do all of this. No cautions on track, only local cautions, which means just a warning to slow down. This could very well be a one-stop race for most of these drivers. Most of them said they could go 25, maybe even 30 laps on a tank of fuel. 22 laps would be about perfect. It's going to depend on how their tires are when they get late in the run. If they can extend that tire wear just a little further, who knows what could happen. AJ Gotzi had opened up a bit of a gap, but now Mark Nelson, once reclaiming fourth, has started to reel him in. Mark now just 2.1 seconds back. Kevin Reed still in fifth, has a 7-second lead over Cody Kennedy. Michael Whiting still on a charge despite being involved in that early incident in the bus stop, and it appeared that he got the worst of it being sent off track, managed to recover, and has made his way back up into seventh. Eric Stoy currently running in 8th place. He came through that early incident with flying colors, picked up a ton of spots. He is up 11 spots into 8th. Jeff Hinkle right behind him in 9th. Aaron Mason still back there lurking in 10th. But Vern Spring is close to Mason's bumper. Richie West in 12th, maybe in trouble. Gerald Thanos Poole is now in 13th, right behind him. Michael Dow back in 14th. He has been making his way through the field all night long as well. Mike Smith currently holds 15th, but has Albie Ewens right on the bumper in 16th. Brandon Springer back in 17th. Mark Dantuma currently running 18th. Richie Joplin in 19th. Rick Sargent and Wild Bill out of the race. Good evening, Nicole. That's what she said. Creasel in race control. I bet Nicole had a fun first couple of laps there with that incident in the bus stop. That gap that Sorensen had opened up on Garmin is gone. Garmin now right back to his bumper. AJ Gotzi in 3rd is in trouble as well. Mark Nelson is now close to within a second. Kevin Reed back in 5th may also be in trouble. Cody Kennedy is closing as well. Last time we saw that gap, it was over 6 seconds. Now 4.8. Remember, Cody Kennedy and Nick Sorensen, 2 of the road racing aces out here. The other road race ace is in race control tonight. Nicole, that's what she said. Creasel came home 9th this morning at Spa. No easy task considering the people she was up against. Albie Hewins has gotten past Mike Smith, now moving to 15th, and is quickly reeling in Michael Dow. Richie Joplin is still driving like a man possessed. His lap times are consistently better than everybody on the track, including the top two. Mark D'Antuma now only 40 seconds ahead of him. Now the question really becomes, how many of Richie's laps can he get back here? Sorensen now in heavy lap traffic, comes by Mike Smith. Gorman's going to get by. AJ Godsey, through some of that lap traffic, has put some space between him and Nelson, but now Mark back on the attack. And that gap between Kevin Reed and Cody Kennedy has shrunk even more, now down to 2.5 seconds. Cody has just put his right foot down and gone. Michael Whiting sits in 17th. Eric Stoy, Jeff Hinkle, Aaron Mason, all still 8th, 9th, and 10th. Pretty much a car length between each of them. Vern Spring lost a little on that group. Now about 2 seconds back. Gerald Poole has gotten past Richie West, now moving up into 12th. Richie currently running in 13th. Michael Dow in 14th. Mike Smith in 15th. Brandon Springer has had a problem back behind. Out of turn one. That is the first incident we've seen out of turn one tonight. That has moved Mark D'Antuma up to 17th, Springer back to 18th. Richie Joplin had a bit of an off track a moment ago, checking his times. It didn't matter, he didn't slow down. I doubt he even lifted. Albie Hewins has had a problem back behind. Albie shooting down the straightaway. Third place, AJ Godsey right behind him into the bow. Just overshoots entry on the bus stop. AJ has nowhere to go. Oh, AJ has a problem, manages to squeak by. Mark Nelson squeaks by. Wow. Nick Sorensen has finally put some breathing room between him and Gorman. 2.8 seconds at the moment. AJ Godsey in third, still 7.3 seconds back, and now has Mark Nelson right back on the back bumper as they come back through lap traffic. Kevin Reed still holds on to fifth. Cody Kennedy, one car between them. Mike Smith goes wide, lets Cody by. Cody has run down Kevin Reed, now just 1.7 seconds back. Cody has set a blistering pace. Kevin Reed is a quite successful road racer, but Cody Kennedy just taking it up a notch tonight. Michael Whiting back in 7th despite being caught in that early incident in the bus stop. It pushed him all the way back to 11th. He fought his way back up into 7th. The big winner in that bus stop incident was Eric Stoy, who came through that whole mess unscathed and picked up a bunch of spots. Stoy now up 11 spots into 8th. Jeff Hinkle sitting in 9th. Aaron Mason currently runs in 10th, still on his bumper. Vern Spring, who had been battling with that group, has lost a bit of ground here in 11th, 8 1/4 seconds back. With Ray Hillhouse, who is 6th in points, not in the field. Richie Joplin, who is 4th in points, having problems here. And Mark Dantuma, 2nd in points, also having issues in the early going. This points battle could get shook up tremendously after tonight. Nick Sorensen comes in tonight 17th in points, comes out here, he is dominating. Sorensen likely to be the biggest mover in the points, in addition to David Garman, who's 14th in points. Both of these drivers going to make a big jump tonight, as it looks like Michael Whiting is going to be the first one on pit road for 4 tires and fuel. Just past the halfway point here at Watkins Glen, Garman is in. He gives up 2nd. Garman going to take the shorter pit stop, get in here, see if he can get 4 tires and make up some of that ground on Nick. Mark Nelson also on pit road. AJ Godsey stays out. Kevin Reed stays out. Cody Kennedy is in. Eric Stoy in 7th, Hinkle in 8th, Aaron Mason in 9th, Vern Spring now in 10th. Everybody headed toward pit road entry. They can still go a few more laps on their fuel load at the moment. Actually, some of them can go as much as 7 more laps on fuel, but with drivers changing tires out, the top guys are not going to want to stay out on old tires very long. And the leader is on pit road. Nick Sorensen brings it down as Aaron Mason has a problem. Oh, Aaron bumping into Jeff Hinkle coming out of the first turn, gets back on the throttle, and it just goes around. Cody Kennedy was exiting pit road, had to wait. Sorensen, oh, Mike Smith has had a problem right in front of Garmy. Great wreck avoidance by Garmin. Mike coming into the second to last turn gets a little too much power on the brakes, just a mild touch into the inside. Eric Stoy, Jeff Hinkle, Richie West, and Aaron Mason now all on pit road. And Nick Sorensen, after pit stops, has a big, big lead. Sorensen's lead now 6 1/4 seconds over David Garman. AJ Gonsey back in third, about 2.5 seconds behind Garman. Mark Nelson, after pit stops, almost 5 seconds behind AJ, but still reeling him in. Kevin Reed back in fifth. There is plenty of breathing room between all 5 of the top cars. Right now, the top 5 all have at least a couple seconds between each other. Cody Kennedy sits in 6th, closing that gap on Kevin Reed again, 5 1/4 back. Michael Whiting in 7th. Eric Stoy in 8th, with Jeff Hinkle closing in 9th. Vern Spring currently running in 10th. Gerald Poole in 11th. Richie West sits in 12th. Aaron Mason in 13th. Michael Dow in 14th. Albie Ewan sits in 15th. Mike Smith in 16th. Mark Dantuma 17th. Richie Joplin comes off pit road currently in 18th. When Richie Joplin came off pit road, he was scored as 4 laps down. Folks, he's only 2 laps down now. It appears that it was a good thing for the rest of the field that Richie Joplin had a power outage, because he would be lapping the entire field right now. Man, what a heartbreak, knowing how fast that car is tonight. AJ Gonsey has started to close in on Garman as Sorensen has started to pull away. Sorensen's lead now 8.1 seconds over second place David Garman. AJ Gonsey in third, now just 1 1/4 seconds back. Mark Nelson has actually lost some ground to AJ now. He's 7.5 seconds back. I think we are seeing some of these drivers take a moment to put some heat back into the tires. Hey, thank you for the subscribe, Kellen Mitchner. Nick Sorensen just set the fastest lap of the race, a blistering 1:12.35. Second fastest lap is held by David Garman with a 1:12.84 and AJ with a 1:12.99. Sorensen has just gone off into another dimension. As Garman gets into lap traffic, AJ has caught him. Mark Nelson about 8 seconds back, but don't count him out yet. Kevin Reed sitting back in 5th. Cody Kennedy in 6th, still trying to reel him in. Everybody's starting to spread out just a little bit. Sorensen about to be back into heavy lap traffic. Garmin using the lap traffic to put a little space between him and AJ at the moment. AJ, oh, holy cow. AJ got down to the inside. Aaron didn't know he was there. Came across the nose. That almost ended badly. AJ lost some ground to Garmin on that one. Garmin now 1 second ahead. But Nick Sorensen now over 10 seconds ahead. Hey, good evening, Kevin. Sorensen has lapped all the drivers up to 9th place as he just went by 9th place, Jeff Hinkle. Eric Stoy smoking the tires just a little bit through turn 1. Eric's still holding on to 8th. Aaron Mason is back on pit road. It looks like he had a problem. Aaron coming through the bus stop, sending, oh! Managed to hold it off Richie West, but ended up going to the tire wall. Hey, Amanda. Garmin still holds on to 2nd. AJ right behind in 3rd. Mark Nelson in 4th has not really gained any ground as the top 3 have been in the lap traffic here. Gerald Poole pulls over to let AJ Godsey by. Cody Kennedy has not gained any more ground on Kevin Reed either. In fact, losing ground, now 7 seconds behind. And AJ Godsey has gone to 2nd. Garmin has had a problem. Garmin's car is broke. Here's Garmin coming up through the S's. Oh, just a little too much power. Gets the grass, hard hit into the rail. That was definitely a broken tie rod. Garmin trying to limp it back to pit road. Hold on for a top 10. AJ Godsey now in 2nd, but 15 seconds behind, or 14 seconds behind the leader. Garmin does make it onto pit road. He is in 5th, now 6th. He'll get repaired and get back out. If he had been in his Ford, the whole car would have exploded when he hit that railing. As it is, he can still hold on for a top 10. That moves Mark Nelson now up into third, Kevin Reed in fourth, Cody Kennedy in fifth, Michael Whiting in sixth. Garmin sits on pit road. Eric Stoy's going to come across. Stoy will take seventh. Garmin on his way out as Jeff Hinkle comes out of the final turn. He'll hold on to eighth. And it looks like Aaron Mason is out of the race. A rough end to the night. Update on Richie Joplin, who is now up into 17th. He is 40 seconds behind Mike Smith with 20 laps to go and has been 3 seconds a lap faster. So I'm guessing there's a strong possibility Richie will still get up to 16th. You gotta give it to Richie. He made up 2 laps in this race. That's been good, Kyle. David Garmin has just gone a lap down in 8th place. He is right behind the leader, Nick Sorensen. Eric Stoy now sits in 7th place, but has Sorensen on the bumper. I think Garmin may be running Sorensen down just a little bit after that pit stop. He will have 4 fresh tires on and fully repaired. Garmin may just be coming to assert dominance here. Albie Ewens moves over, lets that lead battle get by. I think David Garmin may be about to unlap himself. He's looking underneath Eric Stoy, but he is closing in on Nick Sorensen. Hey, Russell, how are you? Mark Nelson navigating some traffic, currently in 3rd. Kevin Reed now in 4th. Cody Kennedy in 5th. Michael Whiting in 6th. Garmy in 7th. Has just gone by Eric Stoy in 8th. Jeff Hinkle in 9th. Vern Spring in 10th. Vern has Gerald Thanos Poole all over him in 11th. Richie West holding on to 12th. Michael Dow in 13th. Dan Tuma currently in 14th. And Albie up to 15th. Dan Tuma's had quite a comeback. Garmin was right there with Sorensen for most of the race. Had the problem through the S's, limped the car back to pit road, went a lap down, is now right behind Sorensen, just trying to unlap himself. And I guarantee you, Sorensen knows he is there. Sorensen giving a little respect there. He goes wide. Lets Gorman unlap himself. Good on you, Nick. Nick had a 15-second lead on AJ. He lost nothing, but earned a lot of respect with that move. Gerald Poole battling with Vern Spring, one of the closest battles on track right now. Vern taking turn one a lot wider, carries more momentum into the S's. Then out of the S's, Gerald used it. Well, Gerald not actually getting in the draft down the straightaway. Bit of a surprise. Out of the S's, Gerald was gaining. Oh! Thanos missed the exit a little bit. Richie West's bubble gum on the tires has helped a bit tonight. Has kept him in 12th. Michael Dow has had a great run. Up 7 spots into 13th. Mark Dantuma now up 7 spots into 14th. And Dantuma is closing in on Michael Dow. A lot. Last time by, Dantuma was 3 seconds exactly faster than Michael Dow. Glad you're doing better, buddy. Hope everything is turning around for you, Russell. Vern Spring at the moment continues to hold off Gerald Poole. Mark Dantuma continuing to run down Michael Dow. It's now down to 3.3 seconds. And as they enter the bus stop, Dantuma now only 2 seconds behind. Richie West is now up into 17th place and is running down Mike Smith in 16th. Last time by, Richie was 5 seconds a lap faster than Mike. I imagine, Kevin, they had it somewhere where he could. Kevin Reed still holds on for 4th. Cody Kennedy back in 5th. 5 laps to go at the Glen. Michael Whiting had a great comeback to finish 6th. Gourmet has been on a tear. Despite that that incident coming up through the S's, he limped the car back to pit road, got it fixed, unlapped himself, and is still marching, trying to reel in Michael Whiting 7.8 seconds ahead, and he's doing it last time by 2.3 seconds faster. That time by almost 3 seconds faster for Garmin. Mark Dantuma has taken 13th from Michael Dow. And Richie Joplin is now 14 seconds behind Mike Smith. He's continuing to charge. Mark Dantuma now about 42 seconds behind Richie West. Not sure if he'll be able to reel him in. Richie Joplin still very quickly reeling in cars ahead. Will he have time to get to Mike Smith though? And Sorensen has just settled into a steady, consistent pace. AJ Gonsey was actually faster last time by in second. Mark Nelson in third, Kevin Reed in fourth, Cody Kennedy in fifth. As long as none of these drivers have an issue, that top five is pretty well locked in. Looks like Richie Joplin may have had a problem. Just overshoots that second to last turn, but no issues there. Oh, and Richie has closed the gap on Mike Smith. Smith had gone to pit road briefly. Richie now just 2 seconds behind him. Up through the S's. 2 more laps to go for Nick Sorensen. Garmin sitting back in seventh, just 2.6 seconds behind Michael Whiting. What a heartbreak for Garmin, but man, what a comeback he did. Garmin on the attack, Richie Joplin on the attack, Mark Dantuma on the attack. All 3 drivers just fighting back all night. It has paid off to a degree. White flag is in the air. It's one more time around for Nick Sorensen. He started on the pole, has led every single lap here tonight. AJ Gonsey started back in 6th. He has fought his way forward all night. Has been fast all the way around. Mark Nelson, who struggled early, whipped backwards a bit, fought his way back up to 3rd. Kevin Reed now in 4th, Cody Kennedy in 5th. One more lap to go. And David Gorman, the heartbreak of the night, sitting in second place right on Sorensen's bumper, loses it through the S's, but still fighting back. And through the final turn, the final time, Nick Sorensen will win at Watkins Glen. AJ Godsey comes out of the final turn, will come home in second. Here comes Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson coming home in third. Let's talk to our top three, starting with Mark. Hey, Mark, it's Doug. You got me?
I got you. Can you hear me?
I got you, buddy. Man, you were not expecting that finish, I know, from talking to you before the race.
I felt like I had a good chance. I just thought that there was a lot of people in here that were better than me, but unfortunately for Richie, he had some connection issues, and I don't know what happened to Garmin. He deserved at least a second place finish, so definitely feel bad for him.
It definitely was a wild night with Garmin's issue, Richie's issue, but man, you still come home third. You continue to march your way back up the points and put yourself in the right position again.
That's the goal. Try to get some points before January. I sure tried giving it away on the start of lap 2. I don't know if you had the camera on me or not, but I sure didn't like my good starting position.
Well, man, it all worked out in the end, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
AJ Godsey coming home in second. AJ, man, I've not seen you be that fast on a road race before.
Yeah, it's definitely not usually my forte, but I felt pretty comfortable in the car in practice. I think I was a little too conservative on that first run, just trying to manage it. My main goal here was just to try not to take too much of a hit in the points lead, and because I knew Mark Nelson, a couple of those other guys are pretty good at road course, but yeah, it ran good.
Yeah, and you're definitely actually going to benefit your points lead right now, so even better situation.
Yeah, I'll take it. Definitely a second's a good run here. Like I said, my goal coming in was just to try to get top 5, top 10, and minimize the damage done.
Well, man, you managed to get that done and much, much more. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
And finally, our winner, no big surprise, Nick Sorensen, the road racing ace. Nick, dominant would be the word I would use here.
Oh, thank you, Doug. Thank you.
It's not a Ferrari, that's for sure.
No, it's not. It's not a Ferrari. The Cup car just drives totally different around here, and it actually took a lot of work to get this track down with this car today.
It didn't look like it. I mean, you and Garmin, about 2 laps in, had a 3 laps in, had a 5-second lead. You guys were just gone from the get-go.
Yeah, we were teaming up there pretty good. I was worried that he was maybe saving his tires a little bit and have a run. We got a little separated with some traffic, and then I lost after we did the pit stop. I didn't see him anymore, and unfortunately, I saw that he got into an issue. And then all I had to do was just keep it straight the rest of the race.
Well, I do have to say, huge shout out to you. I saw you move over to let him unlap himself, man. That was huge respect and a great move on your part.
Well, yeah, I knew he had fresh tires, so that it's actually it's nice to him, but it also helps me too to not put myself in a dangerous position either. So, I mean, it's just a respect that you give.
Well, man, respect given and earned tonight, buddy. Great job. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Doug, and good job to everybody in the race tonight.
Nick Sorensen gets the win at Watkins Glen. What a dominant performance for him. Don't forget, come back tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern. The Jones BS Racing winter season is here. Tuesday night, well, we've got a surprise coming, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll have streams during the day. Hope you guys had a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.